Assalamu alaikum. Today we have bar graph. So bar chart below shows the percentage of people, adamların faizi living alone in 5 different age groups. 5 yaş grubu in the US between 1850 and 2000. So introduction. I'm going to make a simple paraphrase of the given prompt, and if you don't know, this is prompt. Yes. So introduction. The report outlines data regarding changes in the individual household living figures in age groups 17, 26, 27 and 36, 37 and 46, 47 and 54, and lastly it's going to be 55 to 64 age groups, right? In age groups in the US, from 1850 to 2000 in the bar chart. And now I need to write my overview, right? So guys, we have 5 different age groups, and also we have 4 years. That's going to be 1850, 1900s, 1950 and 2000, right? And firstly I need to write changes. So what changes should I include? Firstly I'm going to include increase. And as you can see, all of them, right? All of the age groups showed increases, no decline. There wasn't any decline in the figure for any age groups between 1850 and 2000. However, in terms of volume, the volume of the change, so I can also include this one, the volume of the change. I guess 55 and 64, the highest volume, it showed the highest volume. For example, you can see it was between 2 and 4 here, the blue one, and from here you can see it increased nearly to 18, right? And we have also moderate changes. So moderate changes are going to be the one for I guess highest change also is going to be moderate changes. That's going to be 27, 36. It is also going to be 37 and 46, and plus to that, I don't really understand what's going on here. So I have, yeah, I have for each group, for each group. Oh, okay. So moderate changes. And the smallest change is going to be Z4 for 17 and 26. And I guess here I can also include uh 47 and 54. Yes. So the eldest age groups. So they are going to be middle aged, and this one is going to be the youngest. So you can see the pattern, you can see the correlation between all of these age groups. For example, here, as you can see, I already analyzed it. Uh, the eldest age groups showed the highest changes in the figures for individuals living alone, right? These are going to be the eldest age groups. I'm going to say the eldest age groups in my overview. And here you can see middle-aged people showed moderate changes. So moderate change means ortaça uzgarışlardı. Ve en pas uzgarış was observed in the figure for the youngest age group. And so that's going to be my overview. And here, so generally speaking, generally speaking, there was a universal upward. So the share of those living independently surged across all age groups during the period in the question. Though, though, though levels of this, okay, maybe albeit at varying degrees. For instance, the most pronounced growth, being uh, being shown by the eldest age cohorts, while middle-aged individuals middle-aged individuals doing so, but at a moderate, right? At a moderate level, and the moderate level. In contrast, the smallest share of those living alone, and contrast the smallest share of those living alone, as well as the as well as the 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 fewest share, fewest share, the smallest growth were responsible responsible for the figure for the youngest age group, cohort, maybe cohort. Generally speaking, umumiy gapirganda, the share of those living independently, demak, alohida yashayotganlarni foizi surged across all age groups, barcha yosh guruhlari o'rtasida o'sdi. During the period in the question, savol ostida bo'lgan muddat davomida. Albeit, garchi it varying degrees, turli xil darajalarda. Misol uchun, demak, turli xil darajalarda dedim, shuni tasvirlab beryapman. Misol uchun, the most pronounced growth, eng sezilarli o'sish being shown by the eldest age cohorts, eng yoshi katta yosh guruhlari tomonidan ko'rsatildi. Middle aged individuals doing so, xuddi shu paytda, demak, while middle aged individuals doing so, demak, ular ham xuddi shunday qildi, but at a moderate level, right? Doing so at a moderate level, while it while the result of middle-aged individuals registering a moderate a moderate a moderate a moderate increase, a moderate upward trend, or maybe increase is okay, a moderate increase, demak, o'rtacha o'sishni ko'rsatdi. In contrast, solishtirganda, the fewest share of those living alone, demak, yolg'iz yashayotganlarning eng past foizi, in the smallest growth, va eng past o'sish, were responsible, tegishli edi, for the figure for the youngest age cohort, eng yosh guruhga. Ho'p, main body 1. Odatda main bodyni qanday qilib tartiblash mumkin? Main bodyni tartiblash albatta yozgan overviewga qarab. Misol uchun, eng katta o'sish guruhlarini birinchi bodyga, keyin o'rtachalarini ikkinchi body va eng kichigini uchinchi bodyga yozishim mumkin. So main body 1, the highest changes, eng katta o'sishlar. Hop, demek. Meantime, sorry for being shut. Uh, I was just concentrating on my essay. There were consistently more individuals. Bu yerda doimiy holatda ko'proq individuallar bor edi. Leaning toward a solitary lifestyle, yolg'iz hayot shaklini tanlayotgan. In the country, davlatda among older age group demographics, demak qariroq yosh guruhlarda, among the eldest, maybe eldest. 1850-yilda the figure for 55 and 64 age demographic formed around 3% of those living alone, 3% tashkil qildi. This figure, bu natija rose significantly, sezilarli holatda o'sdi, from that point on to 9%, o'sha vaqtdan boshlab 9%ga. 1950-yilgacha till and to a staggering va demak staggering degan so'z bizda odatda katta raqamlardan oldin ishlatiladi. 17%ga 2000-yilda. Xuddi shu vaqtda this sort of trajectory, shu kabi yo'nalish was also echoed, maybe echo, I guess it's pronounced echo.
Echo.
Echoed. Demak, shunaqangi bir xil trajectory namoyish etilgan edi by the proportion of another older age cohort. Boshqa yoshi kattaroq yosh guruhi tomonidan ko'rsatilgan edi. So garchi it hovered, demak hover around degan atrofida aylanmoq, hovered mostly around 2% 4% from these years da. Demak shu yillar davomida 2% dan 4%gacha aylandi. Demak 2%dan balandroq va 4%ga keyin o'sib ketyapti. And eventually hitting another significant 13% va keyin hitting a significant 13% in 2000. 2000-yilda shu foizda ko'rsatdi. Xo'p, main body 2. Demak, the moderate changes. O'rtacha o'sishlar. ده. Changes among middle-aged cohorts were not as noticeable as the aforementioned ones. Were not aforementioned ones. Hop, e'tibor beraylik. 1850-yilda 37-46 yoshlilar 2% balandroq bo'lgan. Bu bir xil bo'lgan 47-54 kabi. Va bu почти bir xil yo'nalishda turgan, ya'ni fluctuation ko'rsatgan. Mana shu 1950-yilgacha. Keyin o'rtacha holatda o'sib ketganda. From 1950 to 1950, 1850 to 1950. 1950, the amount of people aged between 37 and 46 edged up from its starting point at just above 2% to nearly 3%. Nearly 3%. But which upsurged moderately to. So I need moderate change alternatives. So I can think of any synonyms for moderate. So I'm going to ask from ChatGPT. Modestly, gradually, modestly. Okay, I guess I'm going for modestly with a margin, okay, by 3 to 7 by 4% in 2000. 2000 yılda. Hop, endi The pro the recorded for 27 okay. The recorded for 27 and 36 age cohort was was registered from 1900 hundreds where it stood at stood at 2% and 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 stood at and at 3% in 1950. This age cohort also recorded a gradual increase in 2000 up to 8%. To 8%. Yes. Demak, o'zgarishlar o'rtacha yosh guruhlar o'rtasida were not as notable as the aforementioned ones. Aforementioned tepada aytib o'tilgan degani not as noticeable as demak sezilarli emas edi. From 1950 to 1850 to 1950 shu yildan shu yilgacha miqdori odamlarda 37 va 46 yoshda bo'lgan aged up demak the amount of independently okay, I guess here I had some language chunks. Individual occupancy between each years old. The amount of individual occupancy between demak individual occupancy degani yolg'iz yashash miqdori 37 va 46 yoshlarda edge up degani nomiga ko'tarilmoq, ya'ni to slightly increase degani. O'zining boshlanish nuqtasidan uzr 2% va deyarli 3% o'sdi. Demak shu yilda but ammo the result of which qaysiniki natijasi a great language upsurged demak ko'tarildi modestly o'rtacha holatda 4%ga 2000-yilda demak 3%dan 4% 7%ga ko'tarilyapti. Bay orada emas fan ko'rsatadi. Records demak yozib olishlar 27 va 36 yosh guruhiga was registered from 1900s 1900-yildan boshlandi. Qayerdaki u 2% da turgan edi and at 3% va 3% da 1950-yili. Bu yosh guruhi shuningdek recorded ko'rsatdi a gradual increase o'rtacha o'sishni 2000-yilda 8%ga. Main body 3 uchinchi body. Hop Individual household figures, individual living households, individual living, okay, individual living or something like that, independent household living. Individual household living figures for the youngest age cohort. So this is going to be 17 to 26. Were the all-time lowest. It The figure started at 2% in 1950. The figure was first recorded in 1950 at 2%. At 2%. Which while this figure grew up to a trap of 5% in 2000. Hop demek individual household living demek yolg'iz yashash raqamlari eng yosh guruh uchun were the all time lowest eng pasti edi. The figure was first recorded in 1950 at 2%. Birinchi marta yozib olinganda 1950 yil 2%da. While this figure grew up to a trough of 5%. Xuddi shu paytda bu figure o'sdi a trough of 5%, 5%ga, demak a trough of eng past raqamni oldidan ishlatiladi 2000-yilda. Menimcha как-то bo'ldi, да? How many words do we have? How many words? Introduction 35, 75, 71, yes, 71. Our overview and 87. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, 85, and the last paragraph 34. So all together, overall, hmm, 25 plus 71 plus 85 plus 87 plus 34 plus 312'da 212 photos. Well, thank you.